Thank you, Chair. Thank you, witnesses, for being with us this evening. Canadian grocers and consumers are under pressure as food prices continue to skyrocket despite overall inflation easing in recent months. In fact, the rising cost of groceries is being reported as nearly double the rate of inflation. And throughout this study, I have frequently called out the poor business practices of large grocers for nickel and diming our farmers and producers, practices that keep costs high and are driving Canadian family farm businesses out of business. An economic scholar, Ambarish Chandra of the University of Toronto, agrees, saying, quote, "We've seen, frankly, bad behavior from these grocers over the years, whether it's price fixing or other sorts of scandalous issues like coordinating on reducing pay for cashiers during the pandemic. All of these things stemmed from the fact that we just don't have enough competition," end quote. And as Canadians know, Costco is not a Canadian company, but it is a far larger company than other Canadian grocers and can be a leader in proper competitive behavior. And I've asked other representatives of other grocery chains the same questions, and so I'm looking, Mr. Riel, at you, and I'm just have very quick questions for you. Simple yes or no answers would be great. Sir, do you charge listing fees?
No.
Do you charge rebates or have chargebacks? Do you charge unloading fees for your distribution centers?
No.
Do you charge penalties on packaging and minor shipment shortages or overages?
No, we work with, what is very important to know, it's part of our code of ethic. We work with our vendors as a win-win situation. When there is a bad situation, we contact the people and we deal with it. But we want to do the right thing. So for us, there's no unilaterally decision made of charging back. There is a conversation and then a cure and a decision that is made. But it's in partnership. That's the way we work with our vendors.
Thank you. Do you charge late penalties if a truck arrives late for their appointment time to unload?
No.
We've heard from other grocers that their profit margins are around 4% on groceries. So I'm just wondering if you can enlighten us on perhaps where your grocery margins sit at.
As you know, we're a private company, and we report our number globally with the U.S. company. So I cannot disclose that, but I can tell you that overall, our profit of selling merchandise before tax paid is at 1.43% in the last 3 years. And we're about sales. So when you ask a question about profit and margin, we're about sales. More we sell, better the customer is going to pay the goods, better the member will be satisfied with us. And that's our mantra.
I've heard from some folks that they do business with you and farmers, and that sometimes your company has a habit of dropping and changing farmers and suppliers when they ask for price increases. And with costs rising across the board, I'm just curious why you would want to find another supplier than stick with one that you've built a relationship with who's simply asking for a deal that reflects the current situation.
We've been 30 years in Canada, and we want to be loyal with our vendors because otherwise we're not going to get the goods to sell to our members. If they're specific in there, I suggest to that person to contact me, and we're going to look into it, and we'll do our best to solve the issue.
Thank you very much. My final question to you, sir, is I haven't seen you participating in the Grocery Code of Conduct, and I've asked all the other grocery stores if they would be participating in the Grocery Conduct. So do you have plans to participate in the Grocery Code of Conduct?
Well, we're not invited to the steering committee. We received the draft. We're looking right now at the draft. We believe that it's all about giving the best possible price to the consumer. And if that's to happen, we're going to be more than pleased to participate in it.
Thank you very much. And from your answers here today, it's a stark contrast from the other big grocery stores that we've had here before this committee, in the fact that you don't charge any of these extra fees, and yet you're still a company that is in business, has good relationships with your vendors, and continues to make profits and operate your store. So thank you for that testimony today. And it seems like you're leading the way as far as treating farmers and producers and your vendors fairly. And so speaking with farmers and past experience, I can tell you that they do really value the relationships that they have with your company, and overall they appreciate doing business with you. So thank you for supporting the agriculture industry.